What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Alana Springsteen, and you're watching Hollywire.
Hollywire, what is up? We are in the studio with Alana Springsteen. Woo woo! Welcome in. I'm honestly so excited to have you. I, no joke, was probably blasting your songs over 5 times in the car on the way here.
Stop. You're
I
so
was
sweet.
a huge fan of you even prior, so I'm honestly very, very happy that I get to sit here with you today and pick your brain. Do you want to play a game with me?
Of course.
All right, let's hop into it. So we're gonna play the game, Finish That Phrase. I can't leave my house without
Coffee.
coffee. Do you like it like do a cream, sugar? Like how do you like your coffee?
Dude, I'll take my caffeine any way you give it to me. I'm a full-on addict at this point, but usually it's either just straight black coffee with like some almond milk, or I love lattes. And I've actually made it a part of like my tours and things. I do these coffee shop stops along the way because I'm already like trying out these new cafes.
Yeah.
I'm like, might as well just make it a party and have everybody come out. So it's been really fun to like get to meet people and have conversations.
That's like a meet and greet kind of like
with all your
fans.
But more
so
cash
fun.
over coffee. It's perfect.
That's so fun. I love that. If I wasn't a singer, I would be a
songwriter.
Okay.
I mean, maybe that's the easy answer. Another thing that I loved before I started really playing and music took over was horseback riding. I thought I was gonna do that for a while, like dressage, like all of that. I used to ride English and like jumps. I truly feel like a soul connection to horses. So anytime I can get around them, I'm like obsessed.
I like that. I love that. My guilty pleasure is
dark chocolate. Oh my God. Like I literally bring it with me on the road. I have my favorite chocolate. It's called Who Kitchen. I don't know if you've heard of this brand. I'm paleo and it's like dairy free, sugar free. Like it is so good. And I just found a coffee flavor, so it's like,
oh no,
it is on.
Oh no, this is gonna be a bad addiction for you. That's crazy though. So my most embarrassing moment was when
I fell on stage. Granted, it wasn't that bad. It could have been a lot worse, but it was my first tour. I was out with the band Laney, having the best time. And nobody knew this at the time. I've kind of been open about it since, but I was going through my the hardest breakup I've ever been through. This is the guy that I wrote a lot of like history breaking up about. And everything kind of exploded while I was out on that tour. So that night, it was just a really rough night for me. I was very in my head and I ended up like falling on stage. No. It was okay though. I didn't fall off the stage. I've seen some like videos and I'm like, oh my God, like that's scary. Like I hope they're okay. But I just like was I bounce around a lot on stage. If you see me live, you know I'm all over the place. But I was like getting down and like just slipped and fell backwards. You just gotta get up and keep going. Yeah, it's part of it.
Oh no, it was like one of those nights.
Yes, it was.
Oh,
it was. Well, but honestly, the fans got me through it. Like being out on tour, like doing those shows is what got me through that whole heartbreak. So I owe it to them.
So I feel like we have a lot in common. I mean, we both are in our 20s. I feel like for me at least, I don't know if you feel the same way, were you kind of blindsided when you got to your 20s? You're like, what is going on here? Do you feel that or am I just crazy?
In some ways, yeah. Like I think growing up, you see people in their 20s and you look forward to that age and you're like, oh my God, I'm just gonna be so free and feel like I've got things figured out, got my life together, like being an adult. And then I think you get there and you're like, what is going on? Like I don't feel prepared for this. Like how do you pay your bills? How do you like put air in your tires? How do you keep up with laundry? Like adulting is a lot. And but it's deeper than that too. I think there's so many changes that you go through in your 20s, from friendships to just living your own life on your own terms. And that's what I've done with this album. This album has been like my therapy through the whole thing. Definitely. And kind of how I processed it.
I mean, you just gave me the perfect segue into the album. You've done 3 different installments. Can you kind of walk me through why you chose to do it in that way? Because I feel like it was really telling a story in an intimate way and giving fans like a little sliver at a time. So why did you choose to do it, you know, like I said, in 3 different parts?
In those sections, yeah. It really is storytelling. You said it. Like, I think when I wrote the title track to the album, 20-something, it framed for me so many of the songs that I had been writing over the past 2 years in my 20s. And I was like, it immediately kind of started the storyline in my head. And that is your 20s, right? Like it's all those phases, it's the highs, it's the lows, it's everything in between. and it feels like it's all happening simultaneously. But you know, the messing it up for me was a lot in the areas of like love and relationships. I mean, everyone who listens to my music knows that I have had the worst luck in love.
Same.
Like, just falling for the wrong people. And coming out of the history of breaking up eras, I think messing it up is a little bit more of a mature take on kind of what those relationships were. And I think it's me taking ownership a little bit of where I probably screwed some things up too. And I've realized a lot of times when relationships fail like that and your relationships are like not right, it's because you're looking for something in somebody else, looking for that validation, whatever it is that you're missing. And through writing Messing It Up, I was kind of like learning to love myself really fully for the first time. And Figuring It Out came out with some of my most honest songs that I've written, songs like Chameleon, which kind of touches on the tendency that I have to shapeshift, seeking that external validation and kind of being whatever I need to be to who's important to me in that moment. Another song on Figuring It Out is When We Were Friends, and that's another thing that changes so much in your 20s is like friendships. As you know, I mean, you're in the middle of it too.
I do.
Like people that you were close to in high school and college, like sometimes those relationships continue and move in parallel lines, and sometimes you just grow apart. And I think there's some sadness that comes with that, but there's also in beauty like accepting what it brought you. And then obviously we have Getting It Right, which is the last part of this album. And I think that's kind of the phase that I'm in right now. For the most part, I feel like there's been so many moments this past year that have just been absolute dreams come true. And I mean, from connecting with the fans, being on the biggest tour of my life with Luke Bryan, like, it's just been moment after moment of things that I dreamt about as a 9-10-year-old, like wanting to do country music, wanting to release a debut album. It's all just happening, and I owe that to the fans. And I wrote Exes about that, which is a song on Getting It Right. It's called Exes, but it's not about like my exes. I think that song for me has kind of become like a love song to my fans and the people that I've found through this music. Because if it wasn't for those relationships and kind of some of the challenges I've been through so far in my 20s, I wouldn't have written these songs that have connected me with so many people all over the world.
On my car at home, I'm totally gonna be listening to all of your songs, but thanks Hollywire for watching, and we'll see you later.